Radhe. We are here to do some blog entries, but first, let's do a bit of housekeeping. So I'm currently in Southern California, and I have some events coming up in the next week or so up in Monterey and Orcutt, and a little south of Orcutt, maybe another one possibly. And so I'm waiting for those. The book officially came out. It's for real. It's on the website, bhaktiyogamonk.com. You can get a PDF file of it there, or you can get it on Amazon in paperback, hardback, or ebook. And it's also on a lot of other platforms too. So it's Bhakti Yoga Monk, Paramahansa, and the name of the book is Bhakti, the Art of Loving God. And so, yeah, it's fully available. The paperback's only like $11 or so on Amazon, and it's about 50 pages. It's not too big, and it's yeah. It seems pretty. I think it's pretty nice. I hope everybody likes it. I hope it helps everybody grow. Now, there will still be a workbook come out that goes along with this book, but they're still doing some edits, and it'll probably be out soon. So you can watch for that as well. It'll be coming available. And it should be the same. It should be available on all the same platforms as well. So that's really exciting. Okay, so here we go. All right, so the blog entries are from a year ago. And this is after we got the boat put back together, leaving Puerto Penasco, which took a little bit, about 7 days. And when we left Puerto Penasco, the first stint of the trip was like 108 or 110 nautical miles. And I didn't know this at the time, but when you sail like that, you have to sail all the way through nonstop. So the first stint of this trip was like 27 hours. It was wild. And the boat was rocking side to side a good bit of the time. And so the first anchorage is where we had to sail to before we could stop. It was a desert island down in the Sea of Cortez. If you look at a map of Sea of Cortez and you see Puerto Penasco at the top, go straight down, and it's the first big island you'll see on the left side. It's on the Baja side. And so that was our first anchorage. Okay, so first blog entry. Here we go. Blog entry 155 from 12/17 of 2024. On the boat near a desert island inhabited only by animals, the scenery is stunning, totally stunning. I have pictures. I'll put them all up. These are all pictures from that trip, this part of it. My meditation this morning was interesting. I realized I need to cultivate more faith in Krishna on this journey. Even as I begin to normalize this practice, I recognize that I didn't have much training when Krishna asked me to wear orange for him. So my teacher is older and he wasn't traveling so much, so I didn't really have a formal training in that sort of way. So at this point, I was just like, I don't know what to do. So Krishna, he was explaining it to me in meditation, but there was just so much I felt like I didn't know at that point for sure. I'm still learning now, but I have a better idea, more so than I did then. All right, so faith only carries me so far. I need to strengthen my trust in the journey, making fewer choices based on fear and more choices grounded in love and faith as I move forward on this orange path. I aim to act as if I am in the divine world while living in the material world, yet in a way that is safe and reasonable. So the thing I was having a hard time here, I was still at the tail end of having that divine bliss come through and overwhelm me so much. And so I would get overwhelmed and I would be like, oh, it'd just be too much because it would be so powerful. So it's really interesting now when I look back on this blog entry and how now being more integrated, like Radha and Krishna, they're with me, they're outside of me, and they're inside of me with me. So like when I say the name Radha and Krishna, I can feel the outside soften and sparkle, and I can feel it inside, their presence, and it just kind of softens and sparkles inside. It's really amazing. At the time of writing this blog entry, I would have had a hard time conceiving that because I hadn't had that experience, and I didn't really realize as it was integrating where it would go and how it would firm up and how it would feel, which is really interesting. Okay, so here's the next blog entry. Blog entry 156 from 12/31 of 2024. So what had happened by now was, at this point, we'd wrapped up the trip. So I'm going to briefly go over where all we went. So we went down the east side of Baja, and we stopped off at LA Bay, and I'll have pictures. These are all pictures from that part of the trip. We stocked up on diesel, we stocked up on food and ice for the cooler, and then we took off again after sleeping over the night. We spent 2 nights in LA Bay and on the boat, and then came down the east coast of Baja. And after that, I think we stopped off in Santa Maria, I think was the name of the port, I believe. And we spent a night there. And then we restocked again and sailed on down to Loreto. And so in Loreto is where we was going to meet more friends and leave the boat there. So that was the extent of the trip. So these are all pictures from that part of the trip. All right, so now the second blog entry. Here we go. Blog entry 156 from 12/31 of 2024. We landed on the mainland and secured the boat in a place where it can stay after we leave Mexico. I've been reflecting on what the best next steps are. In meditation, I still feel myself being dipped into the subtle energy that surrounds me, the part of me that exists in the ethers. This morning, when that energy drew closer to Krishna, it expanded and became firm, almost felt like a vehicle connected to my soul or energy field. I don't fully understand how it works yet, but I sense it's an important part of my growth and expansion. This was just part of the integration and where I was at that point on the journey. Yeah. Okay. At the same time, I'm not particularly excited about going out again in the formal orange sannyasi clothing, visiting temples and yoga centers, meeting people to speak about God. I wish I felt more inspired about it, but I don't. I haven't fully connected with this orange life. Partly because I feel Krishna is protecting me in a way that softens the experience, yet it still doesn't feel entirely natural. Yeah, Krishna wasn't letting me feel any fear or apprehension or discomfort or things of that sort. He was just kind of buffering all of that inside of me. So I could tell that he was keeping me safe and he was with me every step of the way at this point even. And when I would go to speak or go into a group or go into a new setting, he would buffer a lot of that. But I still wasn't able to connect well. And so I was just having a hard time wondering what I was missing, what I should be doing, and that sort of thing at this point when I wrote this blog entry. Okay. One thing I've noticed, though, is how being on the boat far away from land creates a distance from the material energy. That makes meditation and connection with Krishna much easier and more nourishing. Still, I know I can't wait too long before returning to the practice of wearing the formal sannyasi clothing. The longer I delay, the harder it will be to step back into it. So, while we're on this trip, I would be wearing orange, but I wouldn't really be wearing the big flowy monk clothes quite as much because we're on the boat and it's really hot and we're climbing around and all that sort of stuff and working on the boat a bunch. And yeah, so I'd taken a break from it. And coming back to it, I had that apprehension from just not being sure of how to connect and what I was to be doing and that sort of thing. But I got back to it. Yeah, it seems, I got back here and got my stuff together and then got ready to head out into Phoenix from here when we got back. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for today's blog entry, I believe. And thank you for tuning in. Again, the book is out. If you have a chance, check it out. Let me know what you think. Fantastic. I appreciate you following along. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, 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 Radhe. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe.